Listen carefully, because what I'm about to say isn't sugar-coated, gentle, or comfortable. It's the truth you've been avoiding. The biggest enemy in your life isn't society, your parents, your past, or the economy. It's you. More specifically, your laziness. And until you face that enemy head on, nothing in your life will evolve. You say you want success, you say you want money, you say you want respect, but your actions betray your words. Every time you choose comfort over effort, distraction over discipline, pleasure over purpose, you're surrendering to the weakest version of yourself. And the crazy part, you know it, you feel it. You can sense that you're meant for more, yet you keep delaying your own growth. Your laziness is not harmless, it is destructive. It steals your potential one small decision at a time. It whispers excuses, convinces you to wait, tells you that tomorrow is a better day to start, but tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year, and suddenly you're standing still while life moves forward without you. You keep wondering why you're not successful yet. Well, here's your answer. You haven't earned it. Success doesn't respond to intention, it responds to discipline. It doesn't reward wishes, it rewards execution. And if you're too lazy to chase what you want, then you don't deserve it. You need to understand this. Laziness is addictive. It gives you short-term comfort, but long-term pain. It protects your ego, but destroys your future. It keeps you safe, but it also keeps you small. Every dream you have is on the other side of the work you refuse to do. You're not losing to someone stronger, smarter, or luckier. You're losing to someone who simply decided they're done being lazy. And until you make that same decision, you'll stay exactly where you are, watching, wishing, waiting instead of winning. The world doesn't care about your excuses, it cares about your results. So stop lying to yourself. Stop hiding behind comfort. Stop letting laziness run your life. You have one shot at this existence, and wasting it is the biggest failure you could ever commit. Laziness is one of the most deceptive forces in your life because it doesn't arrive loudly or aggressively. It slips in quietly, disguised as rest, disguised as comfort, disguised as I'll do it later. And you don't even notice the damage until months have passed. Opportunities have disappeared, and you're standing exactly where you were, wondering why nothing changed. The truth is simple. Laziness is stealing from you every single day, and it's stealing more than time. It's stealing your potential, your ambition, and the future you keep promising yourself. You don't lose your potential in one big moment. You lose it through tiny choices, tiny delays, tiny excuses that pile up until they form a wall between you and the life you want. This is why laziness is so dangerous. It doesn't feel harmful in the moment, but the consequences are brutal. And here's the hook you need to let sink deep. Every time you choose laziness, someone else chooses effort. Every time you hit snooze, someone else gets ahead. Every time you postpone your goals, someone else gets one step closer to theirs. You think you're staying in the same place, but you're not. You're falling behind. The world is moving with or without you, and laziness guarantees that it moves forward while you stay stuck. You don't realize it now, but one day you will look back and understand that the enemy you feared, the challenges you blamed, the obstacles you talked about, they were never your biggest problems. Your biggest problem was the lazy version of you that kept winning the daily battles. Laziness thrives in the moments where you tell yourself that one day won't matter, that skipping one task is harmless, that resting now is self-care. But here's the truth. Laziness isn't rest. Rest is intentional recovery. Laziness is escape. You're not tired. You're avoiding responsibility. You're not overwhelmed. You're unfocused. And until you learn to recognize the difference, laziness will keep controlling your life without you even noticing. Your potential is waiting for you, begging for you, but it can't activate itself. It needs your effort. It needs your decision. It needs your discipline. And the longer you wait, the weaker your potential becomes. Think about who you could be if laziness wasn't part of your identity. Think about the skills you would have mastered, the confidence you would have built, the income you would have created, the opportunities you would have earned. It's painful to imagine, but necessary. Because laziness is not just slowing you down, it's costing you everything you secretly want. And deep down, you know you're capable of more. You know you're meant for more. You know there is a stronger, sharper, more powerful version of you inside. And the only thing blocking that version from emerging is the laziness you keep justifying. Success doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. You don't need to be the smartest or strongest. You just need to defeat laziness one day at a time. You need to prove through action that you deserve the life you dream about. You need to stop letting a temporary feeling control your entire future. The world is full of people who had potential but wasted it. People who could have been great but chose comfort. People who had talent but never developed it. Don't become one of them. Don't let laziness turn your life into a regret you can never fix. Every day you stay lazy, you delay the life you want. Every day you choose effort, you move closer to it. It really is that simple. Laziness wants to keep you average. Your potential wants to make you exceptional. And only you get to decide which one wins. Comfort is one of the most dangerous traps you will ever face because it doesn't feel like a threat. It feels warm, safe, familiar, almost like a reward. But that's the problem. Comfort disguises itself as peace while quietly destroying your hunger, your ambition, and your drive. You don't even realize how powerful the trap is until you've been sitting in it for too long, and suddenly the smallest challenges feel overwhelming, the simplest tasks feel heavy, and your goals begin to look impossible. Comfort doesn't just slow you down. It convinces you to stop moving altogether. And here's the hook. Comfort is the enemy that smiles at you while it ruins you. The human mind adapts to whatever environment it lives in. If you live in struggle, you grow strong. If you live in challenge, you grow sharp. But if you live in comfort, you grow soft. And softness destroys potential. Comfort tells you that you've done enough for the day. Comfort says, relax, you deserve it. Comfort encourages you to settle, to coast, to accept an average life because average feels easy. The more you indulge in comfort, the more allergic you become to discipline. You stop pushing. You stop striving. You stop chasing the version of yourself you know you're capable of becoming. And the worst part is you don't even see it happening. Comfort is a trap because it gives you pleasure without progress. It gives you relaxation without achievement. It gives you satisfaction without effort. But nothing great comes from ease. Everything extraordinary is built through challenges, resistance, growth, and pressure. Diamonds aren't made in warm water. They're made under intense heat. Champions aren't created in soft environments. They're forged in struggle and repetition. So if you're comfortable, understand this clearly. You're not growing, you are not evolving, and you're definitely not moving closer to success. You're simply existing. And here's the hook you need to confront with brutal honesty. Comfort convinces you that you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. You wake up the next day and the comfort feels exactly the same. You postpone again and again and again, and suddenly a week is gone, then a month, then a year, and you're still stuck in the same place. Older, but not better. Moving, but not progressing. Living, but not becoming. One of the greatest lies comfort tells you is that you have time. You don't. Every day you lose to comfort is a day you can never get back. Comfort also destroys your appetite for success. When life is too easy, your goals start to look unnecessary. You settle for less because you've convinced yourself that it's good enough. But good enough is the enemy of greatness. Once you accept comfort as your standard, everything outside of your comfort zone begins to feel like a burden. You start avoiding responsibilities, avoiding challenges, avoiding growth. And the more you avoid, the smaller your life becomes. But you were not made for small. You were not made to live on autopilot. You were not made to stay safe when the world is full of opportunities waiting for the courageous. You were built to evolve, to push, to endure, to rise. You just forgot that because comfort has been whispering in your ear for too long. Break that pattern. Remind yourself that every meaningful achievement in life lives beyond comfort. Success begins the moment comfort ends, and here's the final hook you need to hear. Comfort feels good now, but it costs you later. Hard work feels painful now, but it rewards you later. It's a trade. Your future will reflect which one you choose. If you want a powerful life, reject the seduction of comfort and replace it with the discipline that builds greatness, because nothing extraordinary happens inside a comfort zone. And deep down, you already know you were meant for extraordinary. Discipline is the foundation of every meaningful achievement, yet it's the one thing people run from the most. Everyone wants success, but very few are willing to live the lifestyle that success requires. Motivation is temporary. It comes when life feels exciting, when your goals look shiny, when you're inspired by someone else's accomplishments. But motivation fades. It disappears the moment things get uncomfortable, the moment the work feels repetitive, the moment life gets heavy. That's where discipline steps in. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't need excitement. Discipline is the steady force that moves you forward even on the days when everything inside you wants to stop. And here's the hook you need to embed deep into your mind. The people who win in life are not the most talented. They're the most disciplined. The truth is, discipline is the only path to the life you want because it forces you to do what needs to be done, not what you feel like doing. Anyone can work hard when they're excited. Anyone can show up when things are easy. But champions are built in the moments when nobody is cheering, when nobody is watching, when there's no rush of motivation to carry them. Discipline demands that you create progress even when progress feels invisible. It demands that you show up when you'd rather stay comfortable. It demands that you put action above emotion. And when you practice that long enough, you become unstoppable because you're no longer controlled by your moods. You're controlled by your mission. And here's the hook. Most people never understand. Discipline creates freedom. Every sacrifice you make today buys you freedom tomorrow. The discipline to work builds financial freedom. The discipline to train builds physical freedom. The discipline to learn builds mental freedom. But laziness does the opposite. It chains you to circumstances, dependence, stress, and regret. Discipline might feel hard now, but the life it creates is easy. Laziness feels easy now, but the life it creates is hard. Most people choose the easy moment instead of the easy life, and they spend their futures paying for that decision. The reason discipline is so powerful is because it rewires the way you see yourself. Every time you push through resistance, you grow a little stronger mentally. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. Discipline builds self-respect. And when you respect yourself, you stop tolerating the weak version of you that settles for less. You stop entertaining the habits that keep you average. You stop accepting a lifestyle that doesn't match your potential. Discipline transforms you from the inside out, and that transformation is what creates greatness. But here's the hook that should wake you up. Without discipline, your dreams are nothing more than fantasies. They feel good to imagine. They look good on vision boards, but they never become real because there is no consistent action to support them. The world is filled with people who had big dreams but never had the discipline to chase them. People who wanted the reward but refused the responsibility. People who waited for motivation and wasted their own potential. Don't become one of them. Your future self is counting on you to stop hoping for change and start building it. Discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. You don't need to win every day. You just need to show up every day. The small habits you repeat, the effort you apply, the promises you keep to yourself, those are the things that shape your destiny. And the more disciplined you become, the less likely you are to be controlled by laziness, distraction, or fear. Discipline gives you power over your life, power over your mind, power over your future. If you want the life you dream about, discipline is non-negotiable. It is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be, and no one can walk that bridge for you. The world respects disciplined people because disciplined people create results. They don't talk, they prove. They don't wish, they work. They don't wait, they move. And if you truly want to rise, you must become one of them. Excuses are the most subtle form of self-sabotage because they feel justified in the moment, but they cost you everything in the long run. Every excuse you make sounds reasonable to you because it protects your ego from admitting the truth. You could have done more, but you chose not to. Excuses allow you to stay comfortable, to avoid responsibility, to escape accountability. They give you temporary relief, but permanent regret. And here's the hook you need to face with brutal honesty. Excuses don't change your situation. They only defend it. You stay broke, unfit, unfocused, unproductive, not because you can't do better, but because you've convinced yourself that your excuses are valid. The dangerous part is that excuses evolve with you. When you're younger, they sound simple. I'll start tomorrow. I don't feel like it. I'm too tired. But as you grow older, your excuses become more sophisticated. They sound like logic. And once you lose trust in yourself, confidence disappears. Motivation disappears. Direction disappears. You become someone who talks big but lives small. You become someone who dreams loudly but acts quietly. You become someone who feels capable but behaves defeated. Excuses turn powerful people into spectators of their own lives. But here's the hook that can change everything. The moment you stop making excuses, your life accelerates. The moment you decide that your goals matter more than your feelings, you become unstoppable. Excuses may feel comforting, but they are killing your greatness one day at a time. If you want to rise, if you want to grow, if you want to succeed, you must eliminate excuses from your vocabulary and replace them with action. because the future you want will never be built on explanations. It will only be built on execution. Your competition is not beating you because they're smarter or more talented. They're beating you because they are working while you are hesitating, planning while you are procrastinating, and executing while you're convincing yourself that you still have time. This is the truth most people refuse to accept. The gap between you and the people ahead of you is not defined by intelligence, luck, or opportunity. It is defined by consistency. It is defined by who shows up every day and who only shows up when they feel motivated. And here's the hook you need to absorb deep into your bones. Someone with half your talent is winning because they have twice your discipline. That should wake you up. The world doesn't reward the person with the most potential. It rewards the person who uses their potential relentlessly. You might have the skill, the creativity, the ideas, the ambition, but if you don't pair it with consistent effort, it means nothing. Meanwhile, someone with fewer gifts is training, studying, working, improving, growing, sharpening their edge day after day. They're not waiting for the perfect moment. They're not waiting for motivation. They're not waiting for life to feel easy. They move, they act, they rise. And because of that, every single day they pull further ahead of you without you even realizing it. Your competition is winning because they understand a reality you keep running from. Success is built on repetition, not inspiration. You don't need to be extraordinary to win. You just need to outwork the people who rely on excuses. Your competition knows that results don't come from intensity, they come from consistency. They're putting in the hours even when they're tired. They're improving their craft even when no one is watching. They're sacrificing sleep, comfort, distractions, nights out, validation, while you are still negotiating with yourself over simple tasks. And the hook, they will keep rising because they don't stop. They don't slow down. They don't retreat when it gets hard. Their hunger outruns your excuses every single time. It's easy to look at someone who has achieved success and assume they had advantages you didn't. But what you don't see are the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices, the focus, the consistency that took years to build. What you don't see is the discipline behind the scenes. What you don't see is how many times they showed up even when they didn't want to. You see the outcome, but you ignore the process. And the painful truth is this: you could match their success if you match their work. You could reach their level if you match their discipline. You could surpass them if you stop letting laziness dictate your destiny. But the greatest hook of all is this: you are not losing because you are incapable. You are losing because you're inconsistent. You're losing because you underestimate how powerful small daily actions are. You're losing because you think you can skip days, skip habits, skip effort, and still become extraordinary. But nothing in life works that way. Every missed day is a step backward. Every excuse is a delay. Every moment of hesitation is a lost opportunity. Meanwhile, your competition is stacking wins while you're stacking excuses. And here's what should ignite something inside you. The competition you fear is not special. They just decided they're done being average. They decided they're done being emotional about their goals. They decided that hard work is non-negotiable. They decided that their future matters more than comfort. And if you made the same decision, everything in your life would shift. Because the truth is, you don't need to outthink your competition. You just need to outwork them. Discipline beats talent. Consistency beats brilliance. Execution beats intention. Every single time. If you want to close the gap between you and the people ahead of you, stop admiring them and start competing with them. Stop watching them and start working like them. Stop telling yourself stories and start building habits that make excuses impossible. The battlefield of success is won by those who refuse to stop, refuse to wait, refuse to coast. And if you want to rise, you must become one of them. The hardest battle you will ever fight is not against the world, not against your circumstances, not against other people. It's against the lazy version of yourself that keeps pulling you back every time you try to rise. This version of you is comfortable, familiar, predictable, and deeply rooted in your daily habits. It whispers the same excuses, feeds you the same doubts, and convinces you to stay exactly where you are. And here's the hook you must understand. If you can't defeat the lazy version of you, you'll never unlock the powerful version waiting on the other side. Your greatest enemy is not external, it's internal. Every morning, you wake up with two identities fighting for control. One wants discipline, growth, progress, and purpose. The other wants comfort, ease, distraction, and instant gratification. The problem is, the lazy version of you speaks more softly, yet more persuasively. It tells you that 5 more minutes of sleep won't hurt, that skipping one workout won't matter, that you can always start tomorrow. But these soft lies carry heavy consequences. That lazy voice doesn't want you to win. It wants you to remain ordinary. And the hook is this: the more you obey that lazy voice, the louder it becomes. The more you resist it, the weaker it gets. Beating the lazy version of yourself is not a one-time battle. It's a daily war. It's fought in the subtle moments where no one is watching. It's fought in the decisions that seem small but shape everything. The lazy version of you thrives when you operate without intention, when you live on autopilot, when you let your emotions dictate your actions, when you rely on motivation instead of discipline. Laziness dominates. But when you decide to act with purpose, when you demand more from yourself, when you push through the resistance, a different version of you emerges, stronger, sharper, clearer, and more capable. And here's the hook most people never acknowledge: the strongest version of you is already inside you, but it can only be activated through struggle. You don't build discipline through comfort, you build it through discomfort. You don't build self-respect through avoidance, you build it through action. You don't build confidence by hiding, you build it by confronting the parts of yourself you've been avoiding for years. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you empower the disciplined version of yourself. Every time you choose to move when you don't feel like it, you silence the lazy voice that has been holding you hostage. The lazy version of you wants instant gratification. It wants everything to feel easy. It wants shortcuts, hacks, and handouts. But the disciplined version of you understands that real growth requires patience, sacrifice, and persistence. It knows that nothing meaningful comes without effort. And the moment you begin choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure, you unlock a power that most people never discover. The lazy version of you fears pain. The disciplined version of you uses pain as fuel. The lazy version of you quits. The disciplined version of you adapts. The lazy version of you dreams. The disciplined version of you executes. Here's the hook that should shake you awake. Your life will always reflect which version of you wins most often. If the lazy version wins, your life becomes smaller, less opportunity, less progress, less confidence, less growth. But if the disciplined version wins, your life expands. More clarity, more strength, more success, more fulfillment. Your future depends on the battles you fight today. And if you're losing to your lazy self now, the future you want will never arrive. But the beauty of this fight is that victory is possible every single day. You don't have to transform overnight. You just have to win the next decision. Wake up when you said you would. Do the task you've been avoiding. Move your body even when you're tired. Put away the distractions. Show up when it's inconvenient. Each small victory weakens the lazy version of you and strengthens the disciplined one. And over time, those small victories become your identity. The lazy version of you has controlled your life long enough. It has stolen enough opportunities, enough potential, enough time. It's time to fight back. It's time to build the version of you that doesn't break under pressure, that doesn't rely on motivation, that doesn't fold when life gets heavy. Because once you conquer the lazy version of yourself, the world becomes easy. The hardest battle is within. And if you win that battle, you win everything. You want a better life, then defeat the enemy inside you. Defeat the voice that says later. Defeat the comfort that keeps you average. Defeat the hesitation that chains you to mediocrity. Your life changes the moment you decide that laziness is no longer an option. Stand up, take responsibility, and act like the person you claim you want to become. Because greatness doesn't come to the lazy. It comes to the disciplined, the relentless, the unstoppable. And it's time you become one of them.